Words are spells. Why language shapes reality. Welcome to Becoming CarmaQuanTarot. My journey didn't start the way you might think. It started with a search for protection instead of fear. Today, I work to bring you messages guided by light, love, and the highest good. Not what we want to hear, but what we need to know. I'm your host, and I finally realized I wasn't being followed, I was being supported. I want to start here because everything else builds on this. Before intuition, before manifestation, before protection, words. Most people think words are just sounds, descriptions, opinions. But words are instructions. They tell energy where to go. They tell the nervous system what's safe, what's dangerous, and what to expect next. And if you've spent your life afraid of what you feel, what you sense, or what you know, it usually didn't start with the experience. It started with the language around it. I learned this the hard way. Growing up, the experiences themselves weren't what scared me. The fear came later, when the adults around me didn't have words for what I was experiencing, when intuition was labeled devilish, when curiosity was treated like danger, when silence replaced guidance. The language trained my nervous system to associate awareness with threat. And here's the part most people miss. Once your body learns that pattern, it doesn't care what you believe later. It reacts to the words it learned first. That's why prayer worked for me, but only partially. And why shutting everything down worked, but only temporarily. Because the words were doing something, but they weren't aligned. When you say, make this go away, energy listens. When you say, I don't want to see this, energy listens. When you say, I'm afraid, energy listens. But energy doesn't interpret emotion the way humans do. It follows directions. So what happens when the words are rooted in fear instead of understanding, you don't get clarity, you get suppression. That's not protection. That's containment. And containment always cracks eventually. This is why I say words are spells, not in a mystical, dramatic way, but in a literal one. Words shape perception. Perception shapes response. Response shapes reality. The stories you tell about your past aren't neutral. The way you describe yourself is not neutral. Even questions you ask the universe aren't neutral. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? Energy answers that question. If you ask, what am I supposed to learn from this? Energy answers that one instead. Same situation, different direction. And here's where people get uncomfortable. Intention without language is incomplete. You can mean well all day long, but if your words are rooted in fear, doubt, or self-judgment, that's the instruction energy follows. This is why manifestation feels inconsistent for so many people. They say they want peace, but they speak chaos. They say they want love, but they narrate unworthiness. They say they trust, but their language says otherwise. This doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. Your nervous system learned language long before it learned discernment. So I'm not asking you to police your thoughts or fake positivity. I'm asking you to notice. Notice how you talk to yourself when you're scared. Notice how you describe your intuition, and notice how you explain your past. Because awareness is the first spell you ever learn how to cast intentionally. When I change my language, not to be high vibe, not to be perfect, but to be conscious. Everything else followed. Protection made sense. Boundaries stopped feeling aggressive. Intuition stopped feeling invasive. Not because the energy changed, but because the direction did. Words don't create magic, they aim it. And once you understand that, you stop asking the universe to rescue you and you start working with it instead. So before you try to hear more, before you try to open up, before you try to manifest anything new, listen to the words you're already using, because words are spells. And once you speak with intention, energy finally knows where to go. I'm no longer reacting to what I lived through. I'm listening to what I'm being guided towards. Thank you for joining me on this journey of becoming CarmaQuanTarot. We'll continue the story next time. And remember, words are spells, energy is sacred, and intention is the magic.